Hey, it's Mazzy. Welcome back. I did a bit of a shootout here over the past week, and now that it's been released by Rhino's Patrick Milligan on Steve Westman's live stream, I can reveal the rock entry in the latest Rhino High Fidelity series. And it's a wonderful choice. And look, we went back, we started with the cars that people loved, it sold out. Then they went to Van Morrison, which I think is an excellent album. I did not get that, but I think it is an excellent choice and a great, wonderful recorded record. I love, is that Tupelo Honey, I believe that one was. Then there was a little bit of a sigh of, really? Of the Doobie Brothers' Captain Me, which is a great album and it's a great sounding record, but I think a lot of the peanut gallery in the world thought that was an easily acquired record, and it wasn't a challenging record. But not to take away from the quality or the recording of that Doobie Brothers record. And then the jazz is another segment. I'm not showcasing that, but I think this is, to me, for my taste, for my interest right now, a really brilliant choice. And you already saw it, and if you haven't, you're seeing it here first. But it is the 1977 album on Elektra Records, the debut by the New York band Television, Marquee Moon. Now, Tom Verlaine, Richard Hell, Fred Smith, and Billy Fica, or is it Fica? I do not know. Coming out of the whole CBGB's punk scene, they were more than a punk band. Now, I want to talk about the music because I talk about the music, stupid, and that's my mantra in so many ways. But I'm not averse of trying to get the best quality sounding record up to a point. And I think this is one sweet spot, this series that Rhino's putting out at $39 a pop. Now, that is a lot for some people. I understand that. And you can get, Rhino has been releasing these records for their Rocktober records, their Start the Year Off Right series. And this is Marquee Moon. What a brilliant record. Now, if you don't know this record, you should probably audition it first. Some people are not fans of Tom Verlaine's kind of thin vocal range and style, but I think that's one of the brilliant parts of this. But to me, the core of this is the dueling lead and rhythm, back and forth guitars of Tom Verlaine and Richard Lloyd. Now, I did a comparison. I'm fortunate enough that I have a copy that I got back literally in my record days from the Elektra promo, the Warner Elektra Atlantic promo guy. This is my original copy of Marquee Moon. Just for you record freaks out there, this is a wonderful white label promo. So I have an excellent copy, pretty much off the first stampers, I assume. But this is not an audiophile record in the sense of a lot of buyers of audiophile always want and lust for that slickness of a record, like, say, maybe a Steely Dan record or jazz records. And I think what's brilliant about this choice, it's not that sort of record. And it's probably not a record that Analog Productions would choose out of the rock canons of music from the 70s or 80s. This is, again, from that New York punk scene. And what's great about this debut, it was a game changer. And it obviously didn't do super well when it came out in the States. I think it actually even did better in the United Kingdom than it did here. But it is dueling guitars, long jams that are almost like a angular, out there jazz rock fusion thing. But it's not a jazz rock fusion album at all. The interplay between Richard Lloyd and Tom Verlaine is brilliant. The counterpoints, the switching off from a rhythm to electric. Some are long extended jams or almost syncopated, arranged pieces. It's not really a jammy type band in the true sense of what we think of in the 70s or 60s or the Allman Brothers or the Grateful Dead or those type of things. It's not a jam band, but they have carefully planned out songs on this record. And let me talk about this recording. Then I want to go back and give you a little backdrop. I know people want me to get to the point, but for me, for my channel, for the way I like to present music and records, I think it's important to have the stories behind it, and it's something that interests me. So I make these videos that I would want to watch, and if that's not for you, skip ahead, triple the speed, double the speed. Ultimately, this cut by Kevin Gray from the master tapes is an excellent copy. It's the best sounding copy. I would say it bests the white label promo, mainly in the guitars, the drums, and the drum snap, even the bass, but I think the guitar and drums, they really pop. There's a certain clarity that isn't quite as noticeable on my white label promo even. Obviously, the new cutting lathes and the new equipment that Kevin Gray has made this a better sounding album. Now, is it night and day better? No, it's not. I had to turn this one up maybe 2 to 3 clicks to get it at an equal volume, which I think is a really good thing. But it's not one of those, you have to turn it up like that, the shit-ass UHQR of Pretzel Logic that just, you had to turn the knobs up and you had to treble up. I have everything flat. I don't have treble on my Hagel H390 receiver. Both tend to be, this is a bright recording, but I think the sound of it, the Kevin Gray, the new version, slightly tames it a little bit, and I think in the best possible way. Again, the drum snap, the guitar snap. I found, as much as some of my favorite songs, Venus, See No Evil, and Marquee Moon, that extended track on side 1, I love, those are some of my favorites. I found myself enjoying side 2. I think side 2 actually sounds better. Maybe that's imagination or not. Opening up with Elevation, a song I really like. And what's really interesting on this, on Elevation, I heard something, or I noticed something I never heard before, and I'm curious. Listen to that song, especially in the last couple of minutes of the song Elevation. That's my dyslexia kicking in, of Elevation. I could swear it sounds a little like Animals from Pink Floyd's Animals record. Ha, charade we are. That part, there's a little reminiscent of that now. Is that accidental? It's not a ripoff by any stretch. And I've heard this record for, going on almost 40 years, or God, more than 40 years now, because I got this, again, my promo copy, when it came out from the WIA rep. Thank you very much. And actually, I did get this sent to me by Rhino, so I will let you know that when I do get something as a promo. But just because I get something doesn't mean I'm gonna like it better or not. But in fact, there's some things, well, I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. I think that's every reviewer or every, YouTube or vinyl community presentation should be. You like what you like. And I love this record. Now, I think it's very successful. It's on this beautiful jacket with a gatefold. Obviously, the original wasn't gatefold. There is an insert with a essay by David Frick, Rolling Stone editor and writer, that has done a lot of intros and a lot of liner notes for records. There's a story on here I never heard before, which I think is really interesting. One night in 1974, John Lennon was in New York City watching television. What caught his ear, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, was a local group on a cable access program, and was the band Television playing a song called Hard on Love. And that's when Richard Hell was a member, was a bass player. Richard Hell would quit the band before they recorded and join, would start his own band, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. And I really like this scene. And remember, this is my record store days in 77, 78. I loved all these, not just Warner Brothers, but there was Richard Hell and the Dead Boys on Warner's and Elektra, and there was obviously Television. We got Patti Smith on Arista. She had a single on Sire. We had obviously Blondie, and Ramones in 76 also on Sire. But I really was excited about that. I only went to CBGB's twice, like 81, I think it was. So I never saw this band, but this was a magical time on the Lower East Side of New York City. But John Lennon was watching this cable access and basically thought they were terrible, However, and of course, there was someone from Melody Maker in the room. That's why we know this story. Fact or fiction, quoted here, written here by David Frick. He said, but Lennon immediately identified them as a parallel with the Beatles in their Hamburg days. Yeah, I can relate to them. They're exactly like we were, skint and loving every minute. You know, they had these shit-ass instruments, crappy clothes, and they were just loving everything they were playing. And then obviously they rehearsed, they got a different bass player, and of course the rest is history. And we got Marquee Moon. Fabulous version of this. I really like it. Again, these are limited, only sold directly through Rhino. But let me go a little back now. Again, here's my promo copy, really nice. I'm a big fan of their second, and I got a promo copy of this one, Adventure. They only had 2 albums on Elektra Records, and then they had 1 more record on Capitol Records. I do not have that record. I need to get it. And that was it. I think this is as good as the debut. This has Glory and Fox Soul especially, those 2 songs. But again, elongated songs, counterpoint guitars, great tight band. And then I want to show this because this, I believe, was a record store day some years ago. The main reason I got it, first of all, I like the band. And this was the first and only time I ever saw television. The old Waldorf was on Battery Street in San Francisco. Bill Graham would produce shows there. And it was a wonderful small club. This was a really wonderful time when these new wave and punk, and even from England, I saw the very first show in America of Elvis Costello at the old Waldorf. But this was an album, this is a double album that came out, I guess 2003. So this is 10, 11 years old now on Elektra Records, Elektra Rhino Records. Of course, Rhino is the reissue catalog wing of Warner Music. I've showcased a lot of the records, which I adore, the replacement reissues that have come out in the last few years. Those are amazing, the expanded reissues. The Little Feat, if you don't have those Little Feat records, the first 2 came out last year, amongst my very favorite releases of 2023. But this has a lot of songs from these 2 albums, as well as a long, on side 4, a cover of Satisfaction, the Stones song. I'll just show you this as kind of a cool record here too. And then lastly, I just want to show these 2 solo records that didn't do that well either. This is the second solo album by Tom Verlaine. What a beautiful photograph on the cover. I love this cover better than the debut album. I don't have that debut anymore. This is not a promo, but this is a wonderful, wonderful record. And this, to me, is something really special that probably did nothing. And I would die for a Rhino audiophile version of this. Ain't gonna happen. But this is the Richard Lloyd solo album, Alchemy. And I just recently, in the last couple of years, found this promo copy, this stamp promo copy of this. I've had the CD since this album came out in 1979. Actually, I got the CD later. I did not have this record. My friend Brooks turned me on to this. The guitar playing on this is brilliant, especially on the song Alchemy. It's got this Stratocaster sound that he gets. It's very dry. It's not reverb drenched. I love when a band, an artist and a guitar player does that really dry thing. That's something I really like about Steve Miller with his Strat sound. It's a very similar sound, not to compare music to Steve Miller, to Richard Lloyd, or nothing alike. But I love that dry, it's almost, and I don't know what he's playing through, but it's almost that Stratocaster, no reverb sound through a twin reverb amplifier. That's how I hear that. I don't know if that's it, but this is a recommended record too. So that's my video here. Go order it now if you're going to order it. And there's a jazz record there that I'm not going to tell you about. You can go look at it, and I haven't heard that. But Marquee Moon, Rhino High Fidelity, cut by Kevin Gray. Order direct, the only way to get it. Thanks for watching. Love television, but listen to it first if you don't know about them. Mazzy loves you.